Afternoon, folks. Thanks for clicking on the video. On today's video, we're going to do the install of the Autostop Eliminator on my new GMC Sierra Ultimate Denali. I do have a previous video from my other Sierra that I had that's going to be a little bit different process because, as you know, they've redesigned the dash and so it's going to be a little bit more complex, and I'm a little nervous about all that, but I'm sure together we'll be able to do it with a little bit of confidence and faith in the process. So let's get started.
So when you open the box, you'll get inside a bag. There's no instructions or anything. It's just a receipt for the product itself and the module. So hopefully you'll find that you found this video trying to find instructions to put it in, but it's pretty simple. The most nerve-wracking part is taking the dash out. Everyone's nervous about that because of the plastic clips that hold the dash together. We all think that we're going to just snap those off like dry twigs, but if you're careful, everything should work well. Knock on wood. So this module will you'll unplug the harness that looks like this from the factory, from the back of the plug, and one end will plug into this harness, and the other end from the factory harness itself going to the computer will plug into the other end. So long story short, this basically tells the computer that the auto on off is working, and it also allows you to cut off the system with the touch of the button on your dash, and it stays off until you cut it back on. Even as we know, when we get back in the car, everything's reset and we have to do it all over again, or we're at the stoplight and the car cuts off and you have to hit the button. Oh yeah, I forgot to hit the button. This will leave it off if you've turned it off until you decide to turn it back on, however many cycles later you want it to be, or if ever. My last one that I put in, I think I cut it off and never cut it back on again. But every once in a while I'd test it just to make sure it still worked, and it does. So if you cut it back on, the system operates as normal. When you get to a stoplight, the engine will shut down, and then when you press the gas pedal, it'll start back up. And I am by no means an engineer or claim to be, but it just doesn't make sense to me that this is good for the car, because it's continuously the oil pump's cutting off, and so oil pressure's not still in the engine like it should be, and also you're hitting the start, which means that the starter's going through that gear action 100 times more than it would if you're just cutting it on when you get in it to go to work or wherever you're going, and when you cut it off and cut it all back on to come back home or go to lunch or what have you. You get my point. You're just doing that cycle so many times. And I'm sure the engineers out there will say, no, everything's fine and what have you. But in my mind alone, I just can't grasp that that's good for the vehicle. So that's the reason I'm putting it in, is to help my vehicle live a little longer. It's already getting great gas mileage as it is, as a diesel. So that's what it's going to be for me. But you make your own decision. Okay, so now that we're in the truck, my auto start and stop button is this button here. So what we're going to have to do is remove this panel and this panel, so it'll free up this panel. It'll have some bolts. It should be. It's a bolt here. Removed the fuse panel. There's a finger hole right there for you to grab a hold of it and pull it out ever so gently, and then you can get your finger or a plastic pry tool to go in between right there and pull it out just gently. Don't get aggressive, and it'll pull right out. And put it up there out of the way, and then you'll find 3 more bolts that are here. There's one that's going to hold this piece here on, and then there's 2 that's going to be holding this piece right here on. But you got to remove these 2 to remove this piece because it's laid on top of this one. So I've got those 3 bolts out, and this piece will pull right out, and then that 3rd bolt will be able to pull this out. But before I do that, I used my side door panel to hold the screws. The 2 for the bottom I put in my can holder, and then the one for the top I put in the other cup holder to separate the bolts out so that I can remember which ones go where. Yeah, they're probably the same, but just out of safekeeping. So now we got to take this piece out, and it should pull right out. Lowered my glove compartment just to give me access to here. See, I got the rubber gloves in there for the diesel fuel. So let's do that and see how we go. And she came right off, as you can see. And I've got my interior light mounted to the inside of it, so it's going to be kind of in the way, and I can't just move it. So I'm going to get a towel to set it on. And the next step is you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4 7mm screws there, or bolts. We'll remove those, and once we remove those, the panel should come right out. Now that we got those 4 screws removed, we want to pry this out, and from the bottom up, that did not sound good. So I was able to get it pried out. She's heavy and it's a tight fit because there's a clasp right here holding the wire harness. I'm going to try to get that released, and that may give me more playroom. So to give you a little bit better look, this is that gray piece I was telling you about, and there's the L bracket that bites onto that, so you'll never pry it out unless you go from the bottom up. But you can see that is the harness that we've got to plug out, pull out, and use the plug and play harness on. And so make sure that when you pull the the retention there, and then it should clip right out. But you got to make sure to undo that and then do it back once you get the harness plugged in. And just so you know, it's the last one to the left, driver's side at the bottom. Okay, so to get that red thing out, get your screwdriver and gently pull that red tab out. And I showed you the red tab before, and once it pulls out, then you can pull the harness right out, and then it's a plug and play from there. So like I said, you pull that red tab out, and it will unplug from the back. Imagine if this is the back of the radio. And once you pry that out, see my thumb moving there, pry that out, there'll be another lever. You can feel it with your fingernail, press it down, and this harness will pull right out of the radio back. And this is the module, so it's obviously male to female, female to male, tongue twister there. And make sure you put the red thing, push it back in, so that's locked, and then this will just slide right into the other and snap into place. And then we'll zip tie this to the harness there so it doesn't rattle as we go down the road. So now I've got it plugged in. The kit comes with zip ties, and there's a harness right beside where you're plugging it in. So I'm going to zip tie it to that, then cut my the extra cord length so that it'll be nice and tight. Now I'm a little more picky than most, so not only am I going to zip tie it, I'm going to use this wrap tape here. It's like wire loom, kind of. I know that's probably not the right name for it, but that's what I'm going to call it. But it's the same tape as what they've used on the wire harness here from the factory to put around the plastic of the module, just in case when I slide it in, it's sitting up against the other plastic so that you won't hear it bumping. It'll be hitting against this. So maybe a little overkill, but better safe than sorry. So as you can see, I've wrapped the plastic up with the black wire loom, got it snapped back in. Now I just need to take this and put it back into this hole, and then I can slide everything back down and end and pop it into place. Okay, now I've got it all back in and sorted. Just make sure your wires are going right back into the holes that they are, because there's little crevices back there for the module that'll fit right perfectly in. And then make sure that, if you imagine behind here are hooks that look like that, And then there's a hook here that's like this. So you have to put it down up in there so it'll grab like that, so the flap will grab, and then push up and it'll set down where that L bracket I showed you will sit right back down into that hole, and then it'll snap right in. But if you don't have all of those processes down, it will not go back in. I promise you. I sat here for a minute or two to fight it. That's what you see all the fingerprints for. And just don't force it. Remember, they're plastic pieces. So just be careful. And it'll go right back in. So now I got to put my 4 bolts back in to bolt it back in, and then reverse the process. I did take this panel off right here, is the same as the other side, just so I could get a better grip of it. They just pop right on and off and on, so it's easy. Just be careful there, right? If you got the Ultimate, they're wrapped in leather. And then do the reverse process to get everything back together, and we should be good to go. So I've got my 4 bolts back in, and I got to thinking, well, before I put everything back together, I'd like to test out and make sure I got a good module and everything's working right. So let's start the truck up and go from there. So you can see if I hit the button, it should say off and on. Well, I had it off. Now it's on, and then I turn it off. I should start off, and let me let the steering wheel and all that do its thing and go back to normal, and make sure it gets completely off. All right, and then let's start her back up again. You should see auto stop off. See, remember how I turned it off? And we're good to go. So now I've got to put this trim back on here, and I have a module here too that I'm going to make sure I get my wiring right, and this in there. So just align it, and it should snap right back into place. Replace my screws. Well, hold on. Let's put that one screw in that's right here. Remember, put it in the cup holder so I can differentiate. So I'll make sure I don't forget to put screws in or indicate it. There we go. And there's one screw. And the second screw. Remember, don't over tighten them. And the third screw. I have to say that this one was a lot easier than on my last Sierra. Knock on wood. That gets my screws in, then I gotta get my fuse panel, put it back in carefully. Remember to tuck it into the rubber part first. Everything should go real good. Make sure you have no crease in your rubber gasket. If you do, just pull it out. And then finally is that last piece here. And it pops right on. So now that we got it all put back together, I'm going to clean all the fingerprints off so that it's finished. Not that I'm endorsed or anything by them, but I've always used this Total Interior from Chemical Guys. You can get it on Amazon. But it does the navigation screen. It's safe for that. It's safe for glass. It's safe for the plastics, and cleans everything nice, and has a a nice scent to it too. So that's what I'm going to do now. Once I finish that, put the dash cam back up because I didn't want it to keep thinking it was recording a parking sensor as I was sitting here working. And we'll be finished. So thank you for viewing the video, and I hope that it helps you get the confidence to do a special project like this. Again, I was scared to death done it before, but I was still scared because it's a newer vehicle to me. But it didn't take hardly any time at all. And it's going to eliminate that auto stop function, but still make it available if for whatever reason I would want to use it, or for resale or what have you. But be sure to hit that like and subscribe button so that we can see that we're getting some traction. Had some good views on some of my videos. Just want to get that subscription count up a little bit. But I'd appreciate it if you'd do that. So have yourself a nice day, and be safe out there, and thanks for viewing.